Hello and welcome to today's video clip. So today we're going to be talking about how to load your kiln and what equipment do you actually need. So when you buy the kiln, it's all pre-programmed. So it's a bit like using your baked potato program on your microwave. It's very, very simple, and there'll be another video clip on how to get started with the programming. But today we're just going to focus on what equipment do you need when you buy a kiln. So the most important thing that you'll need are your kiln posts. So you can use 4 or 3 kiln posts, and I'll show you if I put them in the kiln here. So I tend to use them on their sides, so you get the hot air to actually circulate evenly throughout the kiln, because that's the whole point that we want. Here is the kiln shelf, which will go on top of the kiln feet, and as you can see, the pyrometer is completely clear. Now that's really, really important when you're firing PMC, because if that pyrometer gets covered, say you're putting a small pot in front of it, it can't actually measure effectively the temperature within the kiln chamber, so that must always be clear. So this is the correct way to load your kiln. When you've got a new shelf and new posts, the easiest thing to do is just to run it onto a hot program, 800 degrees for 30 minutes or something, just to burn off any residue or any chemicals that might be left on the feet or on the kiln shelf for manufacturing. Now, if you're going to be doing more three-dimensional pieces, which you probably will be, and beads, then we recommend a small piece of kiln pillow. Now this can be cut up with a pair of scissors and can be reused basically until it falls apart. It goes a long way. It's also very good, for instance, you've got beads and you don't want them rolling around the kiln when you take the kiln shelf in and out of a hot kiln. So then for that we use some kiln tongs. So these handy tweezers means that you can get in between the pieces and you can lift your kiln shelf safely out of the kiln, and you've got something really safe and secure, unlike something like a barbecue scoop or other sort of kitchen utensils. It means that you've got something really safe to hold on to, so when you're going in and out of the kiln. So when you're taking things out of the kiln, I'll just show you here, I use sometimes a soldering block. So I put the soldering block obviously onto a safe surface, so something like a tile. I'll take the kiln out and I'll leave it on there to rest. The best thing is not to put it on top of the kiln, even though that might be a really safe idea, because obviously the vent is at the top of the kiln and you don't want to cover the vent with a kiln shelf. So I'll just pop it back in. Here we go. If you need to do more than 2 shelves, you can actually put one on the floor of the shelf and then put one on top. But the kiln cycles are so short these days, it's just easier to run the program twice. Okay.